What's going on, guys? Radio Graffiti here, and today I want to talk to you guys about this Obi Wan Kenobi show that's been coming on Disney Plus. I believe it's only one season, but I know there's been talk of season 2, so I believe it's just season 1 for now. But anyways, I didn't even really care to watch this show. I wasn't even intending on watching it like I did with Boba Fett, because I figured what reason could they possibly have to give us an Obi Wan Kenobi TV show? We already had enough of Obi Wan and Anakin's story in the prequels, so what more is there to tell? I always kind of figured, well, after Revenge of the Sith, Obi Wan was just chilling out, hiding out until A New Hope. But no, Disney said that's too boring. We don't want you to use your imagination. We gotta fill in that gap, because, Disney is basically just desperate to milk Star Wars for all it's worth, so hey, any kind of story at all we can tell, we're gonna tell it. Don't worry, here in a couple of years they'll be telling us the story of how Han Solo got his haircut before A New Hope. Don't worry, the Star Wars shows are not stopping. There's like fucking 25 more well on the way. So don't you worry, we'll have plenty of Star Wars content to get fucking tired of for the next couple of years. But what did I think about Obi-Wan? Well, it's pretty mid. There's some things I like about it. Basically, every time Darth Vader shows up, I feel like I'm watching a completely different show. I really enjoy seeing Darth Vader. But whenever Vader is not on screen, I'm kind of just bored. It's a pretty mediocre show, if I'm being honest with you. I'll probably never watch this ever again. None of the action scenes really blew my mind. It's something I haven't seen before. The Mandalorian still remains to be the best Star Wars content we've had in a very long time. And I feel like they're only making these Disney Plus Star Wars shows because of how successful The Mandalorian was. I don't feel like we have a really good story here with this Obi Wan Kenobi show. It's just mostly him hiding out, trying to stay low, and these people come looking for him. They kind of find him. They kidnap Princess Leia, and he has to go rescue her. And it's just all so boring. I do not feel like Obi Wan Kenobi needed a fucking TV show. This is definitely Disney just trying to milk Star Wars for all it's worth. There's a lot of clumsy shit in this show. A lot of it was on episode 4. Like, for example, we have instances where Obi Wan Kenobi doesn't need to shoot the little laser gate instead of just walking around it, where he has a clear path to walk around it. There's also a lot of times that were just making me laugh, like how Obi-Wan Kenobi is able to basically just escape with a child under his coat, having nothing but a fucking laser gun, ignoring the fact that he's surrounded by stormtroopers who, by the way, are completely fucking useless. I don't even know why Darth Vader even bothers to have stormtroopers hanging around, because they do nothing at all. They get taken out extremely easy, even though they have armor on. It still seems like all you can have to do is just slap them one time and then aim them to the ground and they'll just fall. They seem so weak and useless. Literally, a child could do a better job at fighting than fucking stormtroopers. They're just there for an action scene, basically. They're such weak, bumbling idiots. They're incompetent at their job. There was so much shit in episode 4 that just made me cringe and kind of made me laugh. Like, out of nowhere, these ships just come and just blow shit up out of nowhere. And then the guy who is distracting Reva decides he wants to fucking try to get her attention. And then he tries to fly away, and then he just explodes. And the show acts like we're supposed to feel bad for him, even though we don't even know who the fuck this character is. We knew him for like 5 seconds. I don't give a single shit about him. They really try to play it off like that was supposed to be some kind of sad moment, and it was pretty laughable. A lot of shit in a show like this just makes no fucking sense at all. I'm not gonna echo what everyone else has already said about the show, but yes, the scene where Princess Leia is running away from 3 grown-ass men is extremely hilarious. How fucking stupid you have to be to have a fucking 9-year-old run away from you, and she actually kind of makes it to a certain extent. Because she gets captured anyway, so it's like, what was even the point of that? All the characters in here I really don't give a fucking shit about. Obi-Wan Kenobi is a boring character. He always has been. And it sucks because I was kind of intrigued by the show after the first couple episodes. Because everybody was bitching about Reva on social media. So I thought, how terrible could this character be where people hate it so much? And then sure enough, I watched the show and her character is fine. Like, she's just angry all the time. She's just basically like, Kenobi! I will get Kenobi! I will find him! And then the other guy is just like, you will do no such thing, third sister. Kenobi is mine. Just doing these stupid fucking voices, and everybody's always yelling. Everybody's so angry all the time. They just won't fucking die. And can we talk about Reva on the show for a second? Like, her character is perfectly fine. I guarantee you, if they cast some kind of old white man to be Reva, nobody would be bitching about her. There's been so much fucking drama about this show on social media. It's really ridiculous. It just shows how many fucking racist incels are still out and still having huge platforms to disguise their quote-unquote criticism of the character. They have the nerve to say that Star Wars is calling them racist. Like, please explain to me how Star Wars hates their fan base. Please explain to me how they're dividing their fans, how they're attacking them. All they said was quit being racist. The fact that Ewan McGregor even had to come out and say, hey, can you guys please stop being racist to Moses? And people actually get pissed at this, just shows you who the racists are. There's been a lot of people showing their true colors when it comes to Reva in this show. People using her thumbnail on the show multiple times, even though the show's not even really about her. It's mostly about Obi Wan Kenobi and Darth Vader. At least that's what it's supposed to be, but, you know, Reva gets those clicks and those outrage incels to click on it, so they love hating on her character, even though she's really not that bad. I mean, sure, all the characters in the show suck, so I'm trying to figure out why they're picking on her in particular, but I think we all know why. But anyway, that's enough about that. Darth Vader's like the only cool thing in the entire show, and he's barely even in it. I don't even know why they bothered to bring Hayden Christensen back. He's done basically nothing at all that they couldn't have already done without him. Like, he shows up in some weird scene where he looks like Topher Grace, and it was just like, what was the point of that? Basically what I was saying about the show before I even watched it. What's the point of the show? We already had our Anakin and Obi-Wan story in the prequels. There's no reason to have a 6-episode series about this. I hope they don't make a season 2. We didn't even need season 1. Like, the show's not really terrible. It's just like you watch the episode and then you forget about it. And the sad thing about it is it's going to be like a lot of these other TV shows where it's like you watch it and then you just never watch it ever again. Because there's no rewatch value at all in this show. None of the action scenes are cool. None of the acting is really good. There's no crazy plot twists. There's nothing of this show that I've not seen before. Disney, please stop pumping out all this mediocre Star Wars content. We don't need this shit. Just give us a movie every 2-3 years and leave it at that. We don't need all these fucking TV shows. Besides The Mandalorian. Wrap it up with season 3 though, because I honestly think you're gonna run out of content with that too. Now, season 1 of The Mandalorian is actually really good. Season 2 is basically just them trying to introduce a bunch of characters to start off their fucking spin-off TV shows for all these Star Wars shows, like fucking 20, 30 of them. Disney's gonna keep just pumping them out just like they do the Marvel shows now. Like, who cares about the quality of the actual TV shows? Who cares about taking our time to make sure the effects look good? Who cares about all that shit? You know, it's all about the hype. Oh, get hyped. New episode next week. And then once all this hype dies down, nobody will ever talk about the show ever again. And that's what's basically happening with these Star Wars shows. Because who the fuck is gonna think about this Book of Boba Fett show in 5 years from now? Nobody. Nobody's gonna give a shit. I feel like Obi-Wan's gonna be in that same predicament. As far as the finale goes for Obi-Wan, it was pretty okay. I mean, the stuff with Vader and Obi-Wan was interesting and cool. I like seeing Vader with his mask ripped half open so that you can see Anakin's burnt face, and it kind of shakes Obi-Wan a little bit when he sees how Anakin actually looks. The only thing I found really stupid about the finale though was Reva chasing Luke around and then suddenly having a change of heart. It's like she went through all the trouble to go find Owen so that she can find Luke and kill him. And by the way, how stupid is Owen? You know this woman is going to come for you and you know she's dangerous, so what's your plan? Oh, I'll just shoot her with a couple guns. Like, what the fuck are you doing? Get the fuck out of there. Why would you stay there, you fucking moron? You know she's coming to come kill your fucking child. Maybe you should leave. Did you ever think about that, Owen? Of course not, because we needed to have a pointless action scene to distract us from the Vader and Obi-Wan fight scene at the end. Which is the whole reason anybody even cared to watch the show, was because of Vader versus Obi-Wan. But nope, we gotta break it up with Reva trying to chase around Luke, and for some reason Owen ends up putting up a fight for Reva, even though she just took on Darth Vader. In like, what, the last episode? I mean, she did get her ass whooped, but still. This guy should be no problem for her. Her change of heart just comes out of nowhere. We've never seen anything throughout the entire show of her feeling bad about what she's doing or her having any regrets. It just comes out of nowhere, so it feels really just not earned at all when she has her little redemption arc where she doesn't want to kill Luke because she sees herself being as evil as Vader. We never see any setup for this at all, so it doesn't feel earned at all. But as far as the finale goes, it was pretty cool, I guess, seeing Obi-Wan versus Vader. That's about it. Then we get a couple of cameos from Palpatine and Qui-Gon, and they look absolutely nothing like they did back in the prequels. Qui-Gon looks completely different. Palpatine, I don't even think they tried with his makeup. They just put some lines around his face and said, "Up, good enough." It just looks really fucking weird. His face is like it's melted. That's just weird how they're not even trying to make the characters look like they did in the prequels. Like, you look at Anakin, he looks like fucking Topher Grace. This is weird how they did that. But yeah, as far as the show overall, I'll probably never watch this ever again. I have no reason to. It's pretty much a pointless show. There's no excellent story. There's no crazy plot twist. There's nothing that's going to excite you to ever watch this again. It's I didn't even need a season. We didn't need a fucking show for this. All you're doing is just milking Star Wars. I guess Obi-Wan telling Princess Leia about Vader was kind of sweet, but I still don't see how the show was even made. What was even the pitch for it? Because basically nothing happens in the entire show. I would have liked it better if they just didn't have Vader and Obi-Wan meet at all. Because I feel like a lot of this stuff kind of ruins A New Hope. When you look at their fight in A New Hope, they're just like looking so clingy and just old. It looks so laughable how they're fighting. And then you look at it in this show and they're like fucking throwing rocks at each other with the Force and shit. So the way they fight in the prequels and in this show and then in the original trilogy, it's not consistent at all. It's like they didn't even try. They said, oh fuck it, let's have him do some cool epic shit. And it's like, well, why did Vader never do any of this in A New Hope? Or hell, why did he not do any of this kind of crazy awesome shit in the original trilogy? Because Vader's actually really kicking ass in this show. Then you look at him in the original trilogy and he's like a fucking old man who's on the verge of death any second. I mean, he has some cool moments, but nothing as cool as this. But yeah, that's how I feel about the Obi Wan Kenobi show. Let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below. You guys think I'm tripping? You think this show is actually pretty good? Or do you agree with me that, yeah, this season didn't need to happen at all and that Disney's basically just milking Star Wars for all it's worth? Trying to get every little bit of nostalgia they can get out of people.